Hasan recently got caught in a number of lies that are really embarrassing for him, to say the least. That takes us to Yeet posting. Hasan talks about his journey going from broke to rich, and then he got community noted here, and he just got completely destroyed in this community note. Says Hasan is lying. Quote, I grew up affluent. This is a prior statement he made, saying he didn't have to worry about making ends meet or having to take on a job or anything like that. His father was on the board of a $4 billion company. His mom is a commercial landlord, hired by his uncle's network right out of college. Yeah, his uncle, I think that's referring to, what's his name? Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks. So yeah, I mean, this is clearly anything but what he's saying in this 2-minute clip, which we'll watch right now.
This bullshit goes both ways. If you're wealthy and you critique capitalism, you're a hypocrite. If you're poor and you critique capitalism, you're jealous. Americans are so fucking cuck sometimes. Exactly. I mean, I've seen both, for the record, because I was dead broke and was critiquing capitalism, and then people would be like, yeah, because you're a fucking loser. And now that I have money and I still do it, people are like, well, hypocrite much? I didn't change. And it's always so strange. Obviously, this is like personal for me for many different reasons, because this is my life's fucking work. But what's so funny about it is like, people want you to almost be like, oh, once I got a touch of the bag, like once I touch the bag, it's over. Like this socialism shit is done. You know what I mean? And then they try to rationalize why I'm still doing this. They try to be like, oh, it's because like this is how he's financially incentivized to continue advocating for this kind of shit. And it's like, no, dumbass. Maybe it's because I believe it, you know? People think that like I just fucking was born this way. You know what I mean? I always was this person. I always had this $3 million home. Like it's just so dumb. It genuinely doesn't make sense. Aren't your dad a billionaire? No, man. You're a 27-month subscriber. Are you that fucking stupid? No. I am fortunate enough to be able to financially take care of my parents, both of my parents. There are people who genuinely believe that, by the way. They literally think like, oh, he comes from a billionaire family. It's like, you're fucking dumb. You're so dumb. God damn it. There are a handful of billionaires in Turkey. He would be on fucking lists if that was the case. Is unironically that I know, no, sorry, it's not a no joke situation because I just can't sometimes tell because there are people who like legitimately believe that.
First of all, it's funny how this indirectly became another clip where Hasan is raging at one of his like 20 plus month subscribers. That seems to be a pretty consistent thing with him. And then he's like calling the dude stupid. It's like, bro, this is someone who listens to you every day for like 20 months. If they're dumb, I mean, this might be a reflection of the sort of content they're consuming. I say that in partial jest. I'm not going to fully blame Hasan for that person and their comment, but it is still pretty funny and perhaps somewhat telling. More to the point, though, this is such a bizarre thing for Hasan to lie about. I fully do believe that his father's not a billionaire. Just because he works on a company that has like a market cap into the billions doesn't mean that Hasan's father is also a billionaire. But it's certainly reasonable to assess that his family, his mom, his dad, you know, they're probably well into the millions. This is certainly a rich family. This is not a poor family. And for Hasan to act like he grew up poor and he worked up from nothing is really crazy. I also don't believe him about taking care of his parents. First of all, taking care of your parents is a very admirable thing, very respectable thing to anyone out there. Whether you're, you know, paying a little bit to support them or fully supporting them, I got a lot of respect for you, and that's awesome. But I don't think Hasan is being sincere here. Like, don't get me wrong, Hasan does make a ton of money. He would certainly be able to support parents that need the support of their kids' income, you know, to help them out. But again, his parents are rich. This doesn't make sense that like his parents would need that support from Hasan. So he's either like lying here or he's greatly stretching the reality, which may be that his rich parents occasionally get nice gifts from Hasan and he's trying to spin that into like, oh, I support my parents or something. So again, very weird, very, very weird clip here from Hasan. Oh, but I will add the caveat. I almost forgot to mention this. Like, unless his parents declared bankruptcy or something, yeah, this doesn't add up at all. It's also really bizarre how Hasan can't grasp how hypocritical it looks for him to preach being anti-capitalist, but then delve so far into a capitalist lifestyle. Like, this guy massively perpetuates capitalism. He lives in one of the most expensive areas in LA. He buys himself some of the most expensive things he possibly can. This is not someone who's like preaching anti-capitalism and doing his best not to engage with capitalism, right? This is someone who fully embraces it to a massive extent, and it does make him look like a hypocrite when he claims to be against all that. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about my takes. You're welcome to agree or disagree, but now we'll move on to the community note here, and this time we'll watch the evidence here, starting with this clip where he talks about not having to ever make ends meet or having to even take on a job or anything like that.
That wealth, by the time someone like myself, for example, I can speak from personal experience, when you grow up affluent, as I did, right? By the time you get to college, even if you go to college in America where you get a slate wiped basically because you have no network in the same way in the United States of America, I still did not have to work to ensure that I took care of my family. That would have over my schooling in the process. You know what I mean? There's a tremendous amount of different societal pressures that I did not have to withstand as a consequence of growing up affluent. Even if they had no money by the time I got to college, it still doesn't matter.
So to be fair, it sounds like, yeah, apparently maybe his parents did declare bankruptcy or something at some point, and then Hasan, got to college and he had a bunch of stuff from this affluent lifestyle before that, but then lost it all or something, and his parents lost it all when he was in college, and then he became successful with the help of his uncle, Cenk Uygur, and the Young Turks and all that. And now he's making enough money where he can support them. That is, I think, the argument that he is making. But this still doesn't fully add up. When he talks about, for example, in the prior clip, how he hasn't always had this lifestyle and this expensive house and all that. I mean, yeah, sure, not that exact one, because he only bought that a number of years ago. But it is, in a way, him attempting to diminish the affluent lifestyle that he did mention that he had previously in the other clip that we just watched. Also, his argument, of course, hinges on if you believe him or not. And I'm not sure how many people are going to believe him, especially when he's been caught in an entire web of lies over the Kaya incident recently. I mean, this guy doesn't have the best credibility. But nevertheless, for argument's sake, maybe Hasan's not lying. Maybe they really did lose everything, and now he supports his parents. And I'll even say to Hasan, if by any chance that's actually true, what I said about respecting people who support their parents, I'll even give that same grace to Hasan. But that doesn't excuse his numerous contradictions and hypocrisy. For example, his mom apparently being a commercial landlord, but this guy was on record before talking about why capitalist landlords should be bleeding in the streets or something like that. Dude, clear LARP right there. Clear LARP right there, unless he hates his own mom or something. But then that would be another contradiction with him now claiming to be supporting his parents. So what this ultimately means is, I'm trying to be as fair as I possibly can, but still, even in the most charitable analysis, a lot of the stuff just doesn't add up. Including what I mentioned earlier regarding how he claims to be anti-capitalist, but lives a lifestyle that very much heavily perpetuates capitalism. And that takes us to yet another clip of Hasan crashing out recently. Just from yesterday, Hasan snaps back at Chatter, who brought up Kaya.
That's why, this is
what
so
about your dog?
maddening.
Brother, I can't stress this enough. And I need you to understand something, because I know I bit the bait for one person, and then I think a Discord server was alerted somewhere because everyone started posting this. Kaya lives a better life than you ever will have. Okay, she's a better animal than you. She's a much more important for many other people's lives than you. Okay, you are going to die alone, because this is the type of shit you get up to on the internet. You spend the finite amount of time you have doing this kind of stuff on the internet. Okay, you can type ah ha 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 all day every day and act as though you're totally not mad right now. But the reality of the matter is, when you die, it is going to be alone. There won't even be a sigh of relief. You understand? Not even a sigh of relief from your family members. That is how irrelevant you are. I fucking love it, dude. Owned his ass. I did dress up Kaya for Halloween. She's a Crip dog.
Bro, how do you have that sort of reaction to someone just being like, so how about your dog? This dude crashes out that hard. He starts talking about that person being dead and no one would care. Bro, what the frick? And then when that person wasn't like getting upset, they're just like laughing, he just blocks them in the end. Up until the last month or so, I only had a handful of videos ever talking about Hasan, but lately, dude, this guy's been such a content goldmine. We've even got one more clip. Let's take a look at this one. Hasan takes offense at chatter suggesting he's less intelligent than Asmongold. 1.5 minute clip.
They have no loyalty to anything other than their ideology. They have no loyalty to any group of people. They have no loyalty.
What's their ideology? What's their ideology? What's their ideology, man? What is the ideology of the World Economic Forum? Brother copes so hard about being significantly less intelligent than somebody known as Roach King? Are you talking? You're saying, okay. This is one of those things where you're like, you should probably be embarrassed to say that. I'm not necessarily a very intelligent person. I say it all the time. But like in a lineup of like normal people, if you were to bring both of us up and be like, this is the fucking brilliant guy, you got to listen to this guy. I don't know. Chatter is the coworker that you guys basically avoid at the lunch break because he constantly is wanting to show you all the different memes that he sees on the internet. Look at him coping, dude, in real time. It's gaming o'clock. You're a little late, bro. I didn't realize we're at 7 hours. What do you think the World Economic Forum's ideology is? OS paradox?
I like how he says that's the person people would avoid at the water cooler, as he doesn't ignore that person. He actually derails his stream to specifically address this random chatter. The icing on the cake is that all the criticism that Hasan gets for being a hypocrite who claims to be anti-capitalist, but of course, as mentioned, lives a very much lives a lifestyle that perpetuates capitalism. If Hasan lives the way Asmongold lives, that criticism of him would significantly be reduced, which is a bit funny to think about. Anyways, I'm getting kind of sleepy. I need some more coffee. I'm going to end this one here, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.